Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you on this update on the JM Large and Mid Cap Fund. We are happy to inform you that the fund is now nearly 3 months old, and all our channel partners, all our investors who have supported us in this fund, I'm sure they would like to know how the fund is shaping up. What is the strategy going forward in this fund? And who better than to hear it from the horse's mouth, from the fund managers themselves? And for that purpose, we are today joined with the fund management team from JM Financial Mutual Fund. We have Mr. Satish Ramanathan, who is the CIO equity at JM Financial Mutual Fund. Sir needs no introduction, but we're all aware that he has about 3 decades of experience in equity fund management and research. He comes with a very he has navigated through different market situations and conditions, and very deftly navigated them, I must say. We also have Mr. Deepak Gupta, who is the head of research and senior fund manager at JM Financial Mutual Fund, involved in the day-to-day management of the JM Large and Mid Cap Fund. I'll hand the stage over to you, the fund management team, and happy to hear how you are planning to take this fund forward. Over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Akansha, and thank you all for being with us. As you are aware, the fund has completed almost 3 months since its launch, and I'm happy to say that the fund is fully invested across almost 58 stocks. It's got a larger allocation to large caps and mid caps, with a smaller allocation to the small cap category. This was done consciously to take in account the volatility that we are experiencing in the markets right now. The volatility has been fairly significant, and I'm happy to say that this fund has navigated the volatility very well. It of course had the benefit of being the last kid of the block. But having said that, I'm extremely happy with the fund management team's progress on this fund. It's adopted a broadly sector-neutral strategy and has been fairly deft in entering and booking profits as well, as the case may be. The strategy of this fund is to broadly have longer-term bets, but also book profits if required, as and when opportunities arise. The overall markets situation continues to be a little volatile as the Indian markets continue to underperform and see FPI sell off. That said, the Indian market has significantly underperformed, and there could be a reversal in fortunes should the FPIs decide to re-enter the Indian markets. We are also cognizant of the fact that large caps have more attractive valuations, even though the growth momentum is slightly weaker. And the Q2 results as on date seem encouraging, with a 15% YY growth as on date, with 250 companies or almost 50% of the 500 companies having declared results. There is the continued trend of mid caps outperforming both large caps and small caps, and we therefore believe that mid caps give a good balance of growth, whereas large caps give a good balance of volatility and valuation. So with that, I open the floor to Deepak to take you forward on the portfolio and portfolio construct and any other particular questions that you may have from time to time.
Thank you, Satish, and thank you everyone for giving us time today to understand our strategy on larger mid-cap fund. I would like to share a brief presentation for the larger team. I hope you all can see the presentation. Akansha, can we see the presentation?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, sir, we can see the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, so as Satish highlighted, that markets volatility is likely to persist and has been persisting for the past 1 year, which is why when we launched a product such a large and mid cap, the idea was to basically launch a product where where the volatility can be better managed. And if we want to manage volatility, you have to have meaningful presence in the large cap space, given the fact that large caps provide stability to the portfolio, and hence the large and mid cap as a product, the intent was always to cover the wider base of the market cap. So it covers almost about 89% of the market cap, and to cover majority of the corporate profits, which listed entity is throwing up, which is almost at about 90%. The intent was also about the fact that we need to mitigate risk in our portfolio to a meaningful extent, so that during downturn our portfolio can outperform the markets considerably. And for that, one has to go more broad based, especially among sectors. So while the large and mid cap has a wider coverage of sectors compared to what a mid cap or a large cap have, and true to its label, therefore, this fund has adapted a similar strategy where there are about 17 to 18 sectors in the large and mid cap index, where this fund is almost present in about 14 to 15 sectors out of those 17 to 18 sectors. So while the number of sector coverage has been quite high, in terms of portfolio concentration has also been high in terms of number of stocks. So we typically own between 45 to 60 companies on an average, and that's the way we're going to be running this fund going forward. So while we'll be having a broad sector neutral strategy where with few meaningful overweights and underweights, but the intent is to have presence across all sectors. This also helps us to mitigate risk. Apart from that, we've also adopted a sort of a barbell strategy where we're using large caps, which are more conservative, where the return where it can track market returns and can generate some small alpha, but the meaningful alpha will get generated from the mid cap space where there's higher growth. If you look at this slide where which we've been talking about the fact that FII flows have been negative for the last now one for the last 1.5 years, but we when we launched the product, we saw signs that FII flows could the outflow that we witnessed in the last 1 year, that will start reducing at a considerable pace, and we've observed that happening over the last month and a half, where in the month of October now FII flows have turned around, and it appears that the kind of fall the kind of outflow that we were seeing from April to September, that kind of outflows has reduced considerably. And typically, what happens is when FI typically starts to reduce their selling or they start buying, typically the segment that benefit the most is the large cap space, as you can clearly see that large cap ownership of FIIs have considerably reduced compared to what it has been for mid cap and small cap. As Satish highlighted, we have focused on the segments of the market where there's highest amount of growth. This data is as of June 25, because the September 25 quarter earnings are still underway. But as you can clearly see, that the earnings growth in mid-cap space has been extremely meaningful. Mid-cap earnings have been growing at a very fast pace. It was 30% in December. This is on a YOY basis. 30% earnings growth in December 24, 22.5% in March 25, 20% in June 25. While even large cap companies have also demonstrated considerable amount of growth. And hence a large and mid cap combination gives the portfolio significant earnings growth. And we strongly believe that if the companies in which we are participating are able to show earnings growth, then the P multiples will catch up and the valuations will look more reasonable. We've also been extremely mindful while we're constructing our portfolio that our portfolio should have a lower peg compared to that of the benchmark, and that has been consistently been maintained while we were building the portfolio. We are of an opinion that markets typically stocks gets rewarded as and when they're able to show earnings growth, and hence we are consciously selection process in stocks largely depends on what kind of earnings growth these companies are able to demonstrate over the next 3 to 5 years. And that is one broad metric that we look at while we choose to construct a portfolio. In terms of valuations, while large cap and large mid cap the PEG
Deepak,
ratio.
I think some people are not able to follow. So if you could slow down a bit, I guess.
Sure, sure, I will. So
And
while
sorry for interrupting. If we are stopping here, sir, could you also, some people are suggesting that we could go Hindi English mixed, if that is possible.
Sure,
Thank you.
I'll do that. So I'll just recap यहाँ पर very quickly in Hindi, so it helps everyone. तो हम जैसा पोर्टफोलियो कंस्ट्रक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बेसिकली लार्ज और मिड कैप इंडेक्स में कुछ 16 से 17 सेक्टर्स है, एंड हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि हमारे प्रेजेंस मीनिंगफुली काफ़ी सेक्टर्स को कवर करे। तो क्या होता है कि अगर हम ज़्यादा सेक्टर्स को कवर करते हैं, टिपिकली हम मैक्रो रिस्क हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में काफ़ी रिड्यूस हो जाता है, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट हम यहाँ पर फोकस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। सो इन द लार्ज एंड मिड कैप सेगमेंट के अंदर कुछ 17 सेक्टर्स है, उसमें हमारा प्रेजेंस है ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 14 to 15 सेक्टर्स के अंदर, एंड हेंस वी आर एबल टू मिटिगेट रिस्क क्योंकि क्या हो रहा है पिछले 2 साल मार्केट में कि कोई भी एक सेक्टर कंसिस्टेंटली नहीं चलता है। एक महीना एक सेक्टर चलता है, अगले महीने कोई दूसरा सेक्टर चलता है। सो टिपिकली सेक्टर रोटेशन इज हैपनिंग एट अ वेरी फास्ट पेस, एंड हेंस हमें अपना पोर्टफोलियो काफ़ी अजाइल रखने का है, काफ़ी निम्बल फुटेड रखने का है। सो हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि अक्रॉस ऑल बिग सेक्टर्स, ब्रॉड सेक्टर्स जहाँ पर मीनिंगफुल वेट है बेंचमार्क में, वी हैव सिग्निफिकेंट प्रेजेंस इन दो सेक्टर्स। वी विल हैव लार्ज अंडरवेट्स, लार्ज ओवरवेट्स। हमारे काफ़ी सेक्टर्स में हम कंसिडरेबल वेट रखेंगे जहाँ पे अंडरवेट या ओवरवेट हो गए, बट वी विल नॉट मिस आउट एनी लास्ट सेक्टर। वी विल इंश्योर कि हमारे प्रेजेंस हो इन ऑल मीनिंगफुल सेक्टर्स विच आर अवेलेबल इन द बेंचमार्क। लार्ज कैप्स का सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज ये होता है कि लार्ज कैप काउंटर काफ़ी लिक्विड होता है, उसमें सेलिंग और बाइंग बहुत इजीली हो जाता है, एंड टिपिकली FIIs prefer that type of a counter, and hence FIIs have been continuously selling for the last 18 months. पिछले 1 महीने से FII का सेलिंग कम हो गया है, and it has been reducing on a month-on-month basis, and अक्टूबर में पॉजिटिव फ्लोज भी हुआ, and that has benefited the large cap space. तो इसके वजह से लार्ज कैप्स हैव स्टार्टेड परफॉर्मिंग इन लाइन विद द रेस्ट ऑफ द मार्केट, एंड अगर आप यहाँ पर देखेंगे FII का ओनरशिप लार्ज कैप्स में काफ़ी कम हुआ है कंपेयर दैट टू मिड कैप और स्मॉल कैप, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू फोकस कि जैसे ही FII पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे ज़्यादा मार्केट के अंदर, टिपिकली लार्ज कैप्स ज़्यादा बेनिफिट करेंगे मिड कैप्स और स्मॉल कैप्स से, एंड हेंस हमारा काफ़ी मीनिंगफुल वेट इन द पोर्टफोलियो इज डायरेक्टेड टुवर्ड्स लार्ज कैप। अलॉन्ग विद दैट हम बारबेल स्ट्रैटेजी अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं कि लार्ज कैप हमारे पोर्टफोलियो को स्टेबिलिटी देता है, वाइल मिड एंड स्मॉल कैप हमारे पोर्टफोलियो को ग्रोथ जनरेट करता है हमारे पोर्टफोलियो के लिए, एंड इट जनरेट अल्फा इन अ पोर्टफोलियो। पर यहाँ पर आई जस्ट वांटेड टू हाईलाइट ओवर हियर कि अगर आप अर्निंग्स देखेंगे पिछले 6-7 क्वार्टर्स के, पिछले 3 क्वार्टर से कंसिस्टेंटली मिड कैप की अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग रही है, एंड देयरफॉर हमारा ये बिलीफ है कि अगर आपके सेगमेंट्स में अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ आएगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली द स्टॉक्स विल स्टार्ट मूविंग अपवर्ड्स बिकॉज आपका पी मल्टीपल विल स्टार्ट कैचिंग अप। लार्ज कैप की अर्निंग्स ऑल्सो हैव बीन बेटर देन दैट ऑफ अ स्मॉल कैप सेगमेंट। तो जो लार्ज और मिड कैप एज अ कैटेगरी है, ये पूरे सेगमेंट में अर्निंग ग्रोथ हैव बीन मच बेटर कंपेयर टू द ओवरऑल मार्केट। सो हमें ये लगता है कि दिस इज अ गुड हंटिंग ग्राउंड for fund like ours, which is large and mid cap, जहाँ पर वो ऐसी कंपनीज में इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं जहाँ पर अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ कैन बी बेटर देन दैट ऑफ द मार्केट, एंड वी कैन टेक एडवांटेज of high earnings growth and reasonable prices, and that can generate meaningful alpha. So one matrix जो हम हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में हमेशा इवेल्युएट करते हैं वो है PEG ratio, which is PE ratio divided by earnings growth, and जितना कम PEG ratio होगा उतना बेटर होता है पोर्टफोलियो के लिए, and we have consistently maintained हमारा PEG ratio to be below than that of the benchmark from the time we started constructing this portfolio. अगर आप मार्केट की वैल्यूएशन देखेंगे, मार्केट में पिछले 1.5 साल से करेक्शन हुआ है. मार्केट्स आर चीपर देन व्हाट दे वर 1.5 years बैक. अगर आप 1 साल पहले देखेंगे, जून 24 में मार्केट्स वर ऑलमोस्ट एट अबाउट 150% of India's GDP. Market cap to GDP ratio is almost 150%. That has come down now to almost about 135%. Valuation अभी भी मार्केट की महंगी है, but compared to what it was 1 year back, it has become cheaper. Also क्या हुआ है पिछले 1 साल में, risk on value हुआ है across the globe. Across the globe, all markets have become expensive, while India has underperformed over the last 1 year. So India's relative premium versus global markets वो काफी कम हो गया है compared to what it was 1 year back. So while Indian markets are still expensive, they are less expensive versus what they were last year. That is something which we wanted to highlight. In terms of हमारा प्रोसेस जो है, in terms of how हम हमारा पोर्टफोलियो कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं, जैसे मैंने कहा, we are very bottoms up approach in terms of stock selection. While sectors में we are running broadly sector neutral strategy, जहाँ पे हमारे मीनिंगफुल प्रेजेंस हो काफ़ी सेक्टर्स में. इन टर्म्स ऑफ कंपनी स्पेसिफिक, वी आर रनिंग बॉटम्स अप अप्रोच, जहाँ पर वी लुक एट, वी हैव अ मॉडल कॉल्ड गीक मॉडल, विच इज बेसिकली ग्रोथ ऑफ अर्निंग्स एंड द क्वालिटी ऑफ अर्निंग्स दैट वी हैव. तो जब हम ग्रोथ ऑफ अर्निंग्स देखते हैं, वी लुक एट व्हाट इज द एड्रेसेबल मार्केट, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ वो कंपनी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकती है, और उसका पेग रेशो क्या होगा. अगर आपका पेग रेशो 1.5 और बिलो है, that means the company is reasonably valued. If the PEG ratio is below 1, the company is cheap, and if the PEG ratio is above 2, then the company is expensive. So we are constantly evaluating our portfolio and keeping the PEG ratio which is reasonable, where जहाँ पे हमें लगता है हम काफी meaningful upside generate कर सकते हैं वो कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करके. In terms of model of investing जो हम अप्रोच देखते हैं, we look at various qualitative and quantitative factors. क्वालिटेटिव फैक्टर्स हम देखते हैं कि उनका कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस कैसा है, क्वालिटी ऑफ मैनेजमेंट कैसा है, डिटेल ड्यू डिलिजेंस होता है पोर्टफोलियोज में, वी डू डिटेल फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग, मैनेजमेंट से मिलते हैं, वी अंडरस्टैंड द कंपनी थॉरली, वी लुक एट द काइंड ऑफ क्वालिटी ऑफ अर्निंग्स दैट द कंपनी इज डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिंग, बी इट रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी, ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लो टू एबिटा, बी इट रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टेड कैपिटल, और द काइंड ऑफ लेवरेज दैट द कंपनी हैज टेकन. सो दीज आर फ्यू ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल मेट्रिक्स दैट वी लुक एट इन इवैल्यूएटिंग कि हमें कैसी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करना है, एंड उसके बेसिस पे हम अपना पोर्टफोलियो कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं. हम अपना परफॉर्मेंस एट्रीब्यूशन वीकली रन करते हैं to understand where we are making money, where we are losing money, what do we need to do to beat the benchmark, and conscious endeavor होता है कि we have to consistently perform better than the benchmark over medium to long term basis. Besides the quantitative metrics जो मैंने कहा, we also look at various qualitative metrics also, in terms of looking at, we do a 360-degree evaluation of a company in terms of its customer profile, its suppliers profile, what kind of moat that the business has in terms of ensuring that its sales can grow reasonably, what is the threat of competition for the company, and we ensure कि हमारा 70 to 80% portfolio ये conditions meet करे, and the balance has been kept for turnaround stories, special situation, and tactical ideas. The way हम हमारा portfolio run करते हैं, between 60 to 75% of our portfolio is core portfolio, जो stocks which will always feature in our portfolio. Sizing में या weights may change, while the balance 20 to 30% of the portfolio would be tactical portfolio, which will basically be to generate alpha on a meaningful basis. Our investment strategy has always been growth focused, that we invest in companies जहाँ पे हमें high growth मिले. We look at companies जहाँ पर consistent earnings growth हो, and also we ensure कि हमारा portfolio काफी liquid हो और काफी nimble और flexible हो, so that we can swiftly adapt to changing market conditions. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा, sector rotation has been happening at a very fast pace in the last 1 year in the market. Earlier times, one sector used to perform meaningfully for a long duration of time, but in the last 1.5 years, the sector rotation is taking place nowadays almost on a weekly basis. एक हफ्ते एक sector चलता है, दूसरे हफ्ते दूसरा sector चलता है. So one has to be extremely nimble-footed, and therefore it is very important to create a balanced portfolio to take advantage of the market conditions. In terms of our current market outlook, over the next few quarters, as Satish ji ने कहा कि earnings growth has started picking up. Q1 में earnings growth was reasonable. Nifty clocked in earnings growth of about 7-8%. अब तक Q2 के earnings अभी भी चल रहे हैं, पर उसके अंदर basically so far कुछ about 50% of Nifty companies have reported, and the earnings growth has been in line with expectation. Mid cap की earnings have been better than that of large caps as expected, and it does appear that earnings जो consensus के expectation है Nifty के 7 to 8% earnings growth in FY26, that should be met reasonably well. Third quarters में earnings में थोड़ा उछाल आ सकता है क्योंकि GST cuts हुए हैं, which will get reflected in third quarter earnings. आपने सुना होगा कि डिमांड सिनेरियो जहाँ पर भी GST कट हुए हैं वहाँ पर काफ़ी इम्प्रूव हुए वॉल्यूम्स, एंड द बेनिफिट ऑफ दैट विल बी विटनेस्ड इन द थर्ड क्वार्टर. सेकेंडली, जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशंस काफ़ी कम हो गए कंपेयर टू व्हाट इट वाज. ऐसा लग रहा है कि US इंडिया का ट्रेड डील इज राउंड द कॉर्नर, and we've anyways been slapped with 50% tariff. तो जो भी trade deal होगा between India and US, it will be better than what it is right now. Earnings have bottomed out. That is definitely evident. We have seen various domestic macros benefiting. We've seen a loose monetary policy जहाँ पर आपका interest rates काफी कम हो गए हैं. 100 basis points repo कट हुआ है. Along with that आपका CRR भी 100 basis points कट हो चुका है. Apart from that, RBI ने काफ़ी measures initiate किए हैं which has reduced the risk rates for many of the products जो bank offer करते हैं, which gives banks more leeway to lend. And bank credit growth also has started improving in the last 3 weeks. Credit growth जो 8-9% था वो भी 10 to 11% हो चुका है. So things are looking up on the domestic side. Inflation still remains low, between 1.5 to 2%. though core inflation अभी भी 4% है, but things are definitely looking up compared to what it was maybe about 6 months back, and that gives us a view that maybe what we saw 1 year back, I think the worst may be behind us, probably. Hence, we have started shifting our portfolio to domestic oriented businesses. हम वो companies पे ज़्यादा positive है जो domestic market को cater करते हैं rather than export markets. So to conclude, our portfolio is quite well balanced between large caps and mid caps. Allocations towards large caps, as जो मैंने highlight किया कि वो हमारे portfolio को stability देते हैं, हमारे downside protect करते हैं. They reduces the volatility of the portfolio. जबकि mid caps वो companies हैं जहाँ पे हमें ज़्यादा growth मिलती है और हमें exposure मिलते हैं नए segments में, और वहाँ पे हमें alpha generate करने का option मिलता है. In terms of sectors, currently we have been meaningfully overweight in sectors such as domestic pharma, in capital goods and in capital goods and industrials, and in financials, especially towards the non-lending business. And in lending business, we are more biased towards NBFCs, while the sectors where we are slightly more conservative are sectors on the global side, be it IT, be it oil and gas sector, or government-owned sectors such as utilities, where we are slightly more pessimistic. So that's broadly what I wanted to share with the team. That's our sector allocation and our top 10 holdings.
Have a great week ahead.
Thank you so much, Satish and Deepak. Thank you to the fund management team at JM Financial. We are very grateful to our audience who've taken time out to hear us, and we're always willing to, answer as many queries as we can. And just as Satish sir is mentioning, you're always, more than welcome to reach out to us with your queries. With that, I think we can, close this call. And may everybody have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.